Hello everyone, Musto0063 back to hopefully finish off Mega Man 4. And as I said in my previous video, it doesn't look like Dr. Wily's behind things this time, so let's go take out Dr. Cossack. So there's our nice new fortress that we have to go and conquer. And we start out in a snowy, icy level, and there is ice physics going on here on the slippery platforms, and here's me demonstrating that you walk very slowly if you try and walk through the snow, so might as well just jump through that in order to get through a bit quicker. The enemies that we've been seeing all the way through this section are called Tomboy, and, well, they work pretty much exactly the same way as a real-life Slinky Spring would work. So, yeah, they slink along the ledges, etc. But they're pretty easy to take out quite quickly, so they really shouldn't be too much of a problem. These mono roaders can be a little bit of a problem, since as you can see, they're kind of called in a ball, and they kind of when they do that, so as I mentioned in I think Drillman's video, they move incredibly quickly and they are unhittable at that point in time. So yeah, they can be very awkward to get by. So here's me getting finally getting my revenge on Skeleton Joe. So here's me demonstrating that a charge shot will indeed take them out rather nicely. We also have the up and down enemies that were in Dustman stage to worry about here. So yeah, common knowledge now, or when you come to a pit really, is that you really should pay attention to what's going on and have your wits about you, because there's likely to be something that's going to be pop up and be annoying. Now we need a utility item to get by here, so you could use rush jets, you could use, that would be absolutely fine, but I haven't shown off the balloon as of yet, so why not? Seems like a good enough opportunity to try it out. You could skip this screen a little bit quicker by using rush jet or indeed the balloon, just to make your way from that ladder at the bottom right all the way up to the ladder in the top left. But I decided that, well, why not try and conserve my weapon energy? So, yeah, I take the actual up and down the ladder approach, and it's not too bad. These ladder presses, you can't actually kill them or anything, but as you can see, they open and close, and provided you time, or you can get a good idea of the timing for when they're actually open, that's obviously the time to get by them. And we have made it to the first boss. Who is Mothrayer, and I said before, I can't remember exactly which video it was now, probably a couple of them actually, probably when I beat Ringman and Dustman. Basically, Ring Boomerang and Dust Crusher will be your friends in this fortress, no question whatsoever, and as you can see, Mothrayer is already taken care of. There's not much to him. He flies about, he shoots an energy sphere at you, he also drills down and makes holes in the floor, but yeah, Ring Boomerang makes very, very quick work of him. So that was stage 1 down without too much of a problem. Let's press on with stage 2. 2 ladders there. You probably want to take the right hand one. If you take the left hand one, you'll probably find you get ambushed by these spinning top enemies, particularly the one that was at the higher up of the 2 there. It'll kind of fall down to the left. And unless you have exceedingly good timing and can get out of the way quick enough, probably needs to destroy the lower top end, spinning enemy at the same time as well. Then yeah, the chances are it's gonna just spin to the left and get you. So of the two ladders, you might as well pick the right hand one. A huge spike pit to traverse over here, so of course rush jet seems a natural choice. You could obviously stay low down, but I figure might as well go up high. That weapon energy there is enough to completely refill rush jet up anyway. So I head for the highest that I can do on rush jet, and yeah, it works out rather nicely. We have some platforms here with spikes on, but as you can see, or as you might see now, since we're on the screen, the little indicator as to when they're going to change is the little kind of arrows on the thing. So when they start flickering, that's when they're going to change. So wait for about a second or so after the arrows start flickering, and then make your move. And of course you could use, again, utility item to get by that section much quicker if you so prefer. Balloon would be a good choice, but yeah, the spike platforms aren't too tricky. And of course here again, we need another utility item to progress, so why not show off the wire again? I do like the wire actually. It's a very it's kind of like an unusual item for Mega Man. We're all kind of so accustomed to rush coil, it kind of like appears in almost every game. So yeah, why not use the wire when they get the opportunity to? I'd say most of the screens here are nothing. There are some bubble bats there that really aren't anything. Spinning top enemies there again that really shouldn't give you too much trouble. I really probably didn't need to bother stopping for this energy tank, but I haven't yet showed off the breaking of destroyable walls. I mentioned when I obtained the weapon from beating Drill Man that it is Drill Bomb that does the trick, and as you just saw there, indeed that is the case. So if you can so be bothered, there's an energy tank there. But I probably didn't need to bother, but oh well. Nor did I really need to bother with this extra life, but here's me kind of demonstrating that I don't know whether they kind of intended to use these spike platforms to help you get it, but if you can put a wire, if you can use wire just as I did there, you needn't bother. And of course I've already shown off here what the weakness is for the second boss. Yeah, like I said, either Ring Boomerang or Dust Crusher will do the trick nicely. This is the Square Machine. And basically, well, as you can kind of see here, it's kind of closed up at the moment now, as I miss a shot, which is great. But generally, the idea of it is it kind of goes away and then kind of flies in. It has 3 different speeds. That was its quickest one. This is its second quickest one. And in both those cases, you just want to basically just slide under the thing. When it's moving at its slowest, you want to get inside the thing, and then basically you want to hit obviously the red jewel at the top there. And if you can do it, a bit like what I showed off there. Dust Crusher makes very short work of this thing. Basically, you want to get on the platforms that are kind of going up and down, and just move from platform to platform, because the thing will fire a shot at you. But I say, if you're moving from platform to platform in order to jump up to reach its height, you'll find that just naturally as you move, you'll avoid anything it throws at you. And that was stage 2, again with very little problem. So let's move on to stage 3, and it's a side scroller. Don't worry, the screen doesn't move that quickly, so it's not terribly too bad. Of course, it is in an area where there are, well, you're in the sky, so there's pit all over the place. And if you can't take out these little enemies, these Piccato 24, I think that's what they were called, like I'm having trouble doing here, then it gets a little bit dicey. What with the enemies that are obviously just kind of like rolling around on the platforms, the platforms themselves. So you have to be a little bit kind of careful. But generally, it's not too bad. The enemies here don't kind of like fly at you or anything like that. So yeah, the area itself is really not too bad, and that indeed was pretty much the end of the first section of the side scroller. We are greeted by a jumping at the end, but as he always seems to be, he starts off an absolute mile away from you, so there's really no problem. Now, it is possible, in theory, to get by these enemies without use of any weapon or a utility item. It's bloody tricky, but it can be done. But I really didn't feel like bothering, so I whipped out Drill Bomb and just killed the things. So if you don't fancy using a weapon per se, then obviously you can dig out a utility item. Balloon or again Rush Jet will probably do the trick rather nicely. The kind of gimmick, I suppose, for the second half of or the second part of the side-scrolling bit are these platforms which kind of descend if you're standing on them, but kind of rise up quite quickly, actually, it must be said, when you're not standing on them, i.e. when you're jumping. So you need to kind of manipulate them a little bit, but they never appear, miles away from each other. But some of the jumps you wouldn't be able to make until you make the platforms, rise up to a decent height level. The enemies really in the way are the rings, which might as well not even be there. But for this last section here, make sure you get on this last platform pretty quickly, because obviously you need to be standing on it quite a long time in order for it to drop down quite a bit. If you're too slow there, then you'll get nowhere near it. A oddly positioned energy tank, so here's me demonstrating how you do it. You get the balloon and you slide in to get it. Make sure that when you slide out, the balloon is gone though, by the way. It is possible to get crushed there as the balloon explodes. Rather funny, and yeah, you don't want that happening. So the boss of Cossack 3, or 2 of them, are the Cockroach Twins. And would you believe they are weak to Ring Boomerang? I should say they're also weak to Drill Bomb. Funnily enough, they're actually the weakest to a fully charged Mega Buster. So rather than bother pulling out Ring Boomerang or anything, I decide I might as well just use Charge Shots. I've not really used them all that much so far. I don't tend to like to use it all that much because it makes a horrific screeching sound, but I can live with it during boss battles. It does an exceedingly good job of taking the thing out rather quickly. I might just talk about the boss a little bit more in the initial bit of the next stage, or actually, why not? I'll continue over and talk about it now. So, but obviously, you've got three small platforms there. You need to kind of be aware of, keep jumping on, etc. Move from one to the other as you see fit in terms of dodging the pellet shots and the big energy spheres it kind of throws at you. The first Cockroach Twin just clings to the ceiling and moves left and right. Once that's been destroyed, say 14 hits, half its health bar, the second one pops out, and that one will roll all the way round the floor and the walls and the ceiling, etc. So, it's really not terribly too bad. And you might think that you get hit quite a lot actually, and before on the spikes. I can't recall ever landing on the spikes on that thing. The recoil, if you get hit on it, it seems to be barely anything. So yeah, I don't actually recall ever landing on the spikes, whereas you think that might be something that would happen quite a lot. That's probably all I wanted to say because I've gone way into stage 4. So we're approaching endgame. This is the final Cossack stage, and what we have here is a branching path. So first off, I'm going to take the path on the right-hand side, which obviously requires use of a utility item to get up. Again, wire is a decent option if you can get it right. And obviously Drill Bomb in order to break through the barrier. We'll see what's up to the left a little bit later, but going this way is, well, unless you particularly want to go up, this is the preferred way. I say I could have left Drill on there. I don't know why I'm really going for all these energy tanks. I'm probably not going to use them, but oh well. Which makes my decision to leave the one in Brightman stage even more perplexing. But oh well, there you go. But yeah, the way I've gone here with Drill is incredibly quick. So we're actually at the end of the branching path there. So let's backtrack and go the other way. But as we'll see that the other way is a lot longer. Many more enemies and no E-tank as well, so there is an extra life if you go this way, so we'll see you getting that. But yeah, this is the far more perilous way of going. As you can see, we've got pits and the up and down enemies. They really shouldn't be too bad, but still, anything with pits or spikes, etc., is inevitably going to be slightly more dangerous. This screen, say there's one little Picasso 24 over here, which isn't too bad. The next screen here coming up is rather tricky because you don't have really enough time to hit this shield attacker, so you have to jump over it, etc., or possibly pull out a weapon, etc., that will break through the shield when it's facing its other way. So yeah, much more tricky. Although we have now met up with where we were before, but yeah, it's longer. There's many more annoying enemies in the way, and well, it's tossed up between an extra life or an E-tank. And well, I guess all things equal, I'd probably prefer an E-tank over an extra life, but it honestly doesn't really make too much of a difference to me. Here we go. This is approaching endgame. We are at Dr. Cossack. In his little machine called the Cossack Catcher, which is weak to Dust Crusher. I told you, Ring Boomerang, Dust Crusher. Although, funnily enough, again, the fully charged Mega Buster does the most damage to it, so again, rather than bother pulling out a weapon, or Dust Crusher, I decided to just use this. He kind of hovers around, etc. He shoots these little pellet shots at you. He'll start occasionally drop down to try and grab you with the pincers, but he's pretty straightforward. And that's it, you are down. We must be done with the game. Please, Mega Man, don't. My father is not really evil. Dr. Wily took me hostage and forced my father to fight you. Please, Mega Man, don't hurt my father anymore. Oh, Kalinka. Father. Mega Man, forgive me. You betrayed me, Proto Man. I'm gonna break you, Mega Man. Yes, it was Dr. Wily who was behind it all after all, and he's back once again to make our ears bleed. But that's the end of this video. Next video will finally be taking on or finishing the game with the Wily stages. See you next time. Cheerio.